Hi there, Patrick. I have something to show you here, a little home project I've been doing, and I thought maybe you'd be interested in doing something like this. During the COVID, of course, I had to stay home an awful lot. I still have a lot to do here with a large lawn and all that, and keeping the house up. But in the meantime, I was running out of storage in here, so I decided I was going to build me something that would help me store things and help me sort some things out. And what I did is build this contraption here that all the stuff comes from Lowe's. It's a base that's a roll around from Harbor Freight for moving furniture, and it's 24 by 16. So I put two 15-inch boards on it, split it down the middle with a piece of plywood, and then I put in all these shelves. And I used a device here that's actually for plastering, for making the end of a wall, and it's very inexpensive. And then covered it with pegboard on the ends so that I could have a whatever I want to have on it. I've only had it completed here in a week or two, and I haven't really built it up. You'll see that I have a lot of things on the wall here in the shelf, and there's some things in my cabinet that I might want to put on here and have available to me. But it was very inexpensive, very easy to build. I put about 3 weeks into it of time, but it was a little bit here, a little bit there. I bought a little of this, I bought a little of that, and so on. But all in all, I think you could do it in about 2 days if you just bought everything and went right to it and had a good wood shop to start with. My biggest mistake was that these two 15-inch boards are glued up boards from Lowe's, and I didn't check to square them to make sure that they were exactly the same size. So they gave me some surprises when I was building this thing up. Right now I have several empty, but I also have a lot of stuff here that needs sorted out. This is the most expensive part of the whole thing, and that these are about $5 a piece at Harbor Freight. There's more money into the cases than there is in the whole box. My latest build up is for doing some soldering. I do a lot of work at church, and I do a lot of audio video wiring and reforming and changing and adding and so on. And my old soldering station just quit working altogether, so I bought a new one here recently, and it works just wonderful. What I normally will be doing here is just keeping this thing back here in the corner, and then keeping the room open as I can. And then when time comes around that there's something I'm going to do that involves the tools and the stuff that I'll have here, then I'll roll this guy out, flip it around to the side that's going to be most useful to me, and park it next to my workbench, which you'll see here in a little bit. But it's been something to keep me busy, something to keep me out of trouble, something to put some spare time into, but it's going to be helpful overall. I bought a labeler and started labeling all these things, sorting a lot of things, throwing away stuff that I had too many of, and leaving some spots for things that that I have none of that I know I would like to have on available, like certain nuts, bolts, and screws, and so on. But that's about it. That's what I did for a couple of weekends and a little bit of time, but had a lot of fun doing it. Kept me out here in the shop, and it's not too bad working out here, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. I want to start now just to show you around the shop. This workbench was here when I got here. It was actually over in another building that you'll see as we go around later. And I put the shelves in above it, and it's not attached to the wall yet, but the wall's also not quite finished. I need to put sheetrock on it, and then I'm going to attach it to the wall. Right now it's a little shaky when I'm trying to use a vise or something like that. Most of the wire and stuff that I use is over in the other building, over in my barn, and then we'll see the barn later. And then this wall full is just about everything I need, and it's pretty handy and open enough that I can get to things when I want them pretty well. Down at the end there, you can see I've got a drill press. And then as we come on around, you can see that I have this wooden cabinet that was actually for my kitchen when I lived in town. When I moved out here with Cheryl, I didn't need it, so I brought it out here, and I use it for rags and storage of various things underneath it. The toolbox is a standard old Sears and Roebuck toolbox with most things in it. A lot of overflow stuff in there and a lot of large stuff. This blue shelf was here, built into the building when I got here, and I just have left it where it is. The problem with it right now is that I need to pull it out to put insulation behind it to cool things off here. The doors are 4 foot wide, so they're easy to get things in and out of, and I normally use this one coming in from the side. And then here's another shelf that was built in when I got here, next to the workbench. The only other thing that I guess I should just do is let you know that I've got a lot of lumber, not lots, but I've got other places to store it too. And I've got other projects in mind. I've always got at least 2 or 3 projects going. Behind there, there's a fan here, and it's off right now. And also back in this corner, you'll see that I do have an air conditioner. And when I let that run for a couple of hours ahead of coming out here to work, it turns out to be quite comfortable. The only other thing I might mention is this set of toolboxes I've got. I do quite a lot of work at church, but it's project stuff. It's allowed to be electronics, it's allowed to be hardware, it's allowed to be flooring, it's allowed to be rugs. So I just take that whole roll around, drag it out there, put it in the truck, take it where I'm going, and unload it, and then I'm set up. I've got just about everything. Generally, when I take that, I'll think through what I'm trying to do and grab a few things off the wall and throw it into another bag, and just to make sure that I've covered myself. Just coming outside of the workshop, this building over here is because we have a pretty good sized lawn. I got a drive around tractor, and then inside mostly storage and not so much of a useful building, but a lot of storage. This is the new electric mower. It's wonderful. I love every bit of it. And this is just a general look around in the back. The boat has to go. It's been here for 5 years, and her son just will not take it away. This is my new barn building. It's a tough shed, and then inside it's still pretty rough, but I've completely insulated it so far, and I've put a fan in the top of both ends of it, and then it has some ventilation in the top, and then I have ventilation in the floor. The yard's a lot cleaner than it used to be, but it still needs to get a lot of work done. The little thing below the building there, that's a pump house. So now I have a well, and that allows me to irrigate. Right now it's so rainy I don't have to worry about it. But the last 5 days have been kind of without rain, so we have had to supplement a little bit. I got a 8-foot trailer. And we'll see my truck later on. And then the depth of this is still the depth of just the backyard. The trailer's big enough to haul sheetrock, and sheets of plywood, and that was the whole idea. I'm going to quickly go around here and show you some of this little chunk of backyard, which is all in fence. The backyard is anyway. And this is Cheryl's work table for doing her plant stuff. We have just about every plant you can think of. You can see Cheryl there in the background. And then I'll get back around to that side of the house in a minute. This looks a little weedy, but part of the reason for that being weedy is that there is a tortoise that lives down inside there. She's got a hole under the fence and comes and goes as she pleases, and sometimes she's gone for weeks at a time. That's my neighbor's fence. Some beauty berries, an old maple tree that just fall when it goes dead. We're going to cut it out completely. Now, you're probably not familiar with these trees at all. They're called sea grape. Biggest problem with them is all the falling leaves. And Now we're looking towards the front. We're on a corner, so I've got sidewalk down the side here, but none on the other side. I was parking the truck there in that kind of bare spot next to the car. And then this is the back of the house, the side of the house actually. You can't tell when you're on a corner. And this little square in front of us is where the electrical is and where the controls for the Tesla solar system will be once they get it put in. Coming on down, there's my truck. It's a 2013 Ford 150, really a little bigger than what I needed, but it was a good deal and much better than the one I had, particularly in the fact that it's air conditioned. So this is the front of the house, or what we call the front. And then our property goes down nearly to that trash can you can see in the distance. I've got a second driveway down there where I can drive into the backyard. We've got these plants that we've put along the fence, and the intent is for them to grow up to the point that they're actually hiding the whole thing, and then when they're tall enough and thick enough, we'll take down the rest of that wooden fence because we really don't need that there. We're out in an area where there's no traffic. This little housing development is dead end on a road, and the only people here are who lives here. I put this driveway in about 3 years ago, and then the fence was put in just before that. We intend to have a garden, but we haven't worked on that very hard. This is the kind of the backyard, and we have really a very wide variety of trees and plants here. Down there along the fence you can see that purple thing is oh, I'm sorry, I can't think of it, but you make tea out of it. This little plot here will be the garden, and we've already used it for a garden a couple times, but everything's now gone away, and we're going to clean it up and get ready for the fall and plant some other things. Notice our gold bamboo, lots of it, and it's very big stuff. Some of these are 30 feet high. Coming on around, well, the little black box there is for doing composting. Between the gate where I put in the new driveway, I can drive all the way through and then come out this back gate down there where the truck was parked. We recently went to a flower show and bought a whole bunch of caladiums. That's these guys along the fence. And I still have a bare area here. For whatever reason, I can't seem to get things to grow. This is kind of a view of around this spot here. This is a mango tree. We had about 30 mangoes this year. So that means next year, not so many. All kind of plants, like I say. We occasionally get a pineapple to grow up big enough that we can eat it. This is the fish pond. And it's hard to see, but there is a little waterfall back there under the Buddha. And then that dead bamboo has been a problem for us lately. These huge ferns are called leather fern with some bananas behind them. And this is kind of the backside where we can relax. So this is our lanai. And we're out here every evening, every morning actually, for coffee, and then in the evening we sit out here for a few minutes and split a beer. Going in the house, I don't know how the lighting will change in here, but this is my little studio area. Drawing table, same one that we ate on when you were a child, and bookcases, a desk, and so on, and lots of art stuff as usual. This is some artwork in a stack there. So I'll do a little spin around here. The girl there is just some artwork I've done. That art was my wife's previous mother-in-law. This wall was completely rebuilt right when I moved in here with Cheryl. While she was gone visiting her sister, I built this TV in. And then over here in this little corner, she has her office. I'll get some light on that too. But she's computer literate and does everything she needs to, pays bills, talks to people, and so on and so forth. Here's some more books and bookcases. I'll have to edit that stuff out. And then the kitchen is all new. When I moved in here, none of this was here. I built this set of shelves for the teapots and for glasses. This is all IKEA. Cheryl and I built all of these cabinets together, including the ones on the base. And that's how we got to know one another. Was she bought all this stuff and didn't know whether she was going to be able to do it by herself. So I volunteered to help. And we put it all in and got it all dressed up, and then had a little bit of help from plumbers and others, but it turned out to be a very nice kitchen. Down the hall, I'll give you a quick look of what's going on down here. I'm running out of time, I can see that. Running out of power. This is her workroom. She's a seamstress. She's got a degree in clothing design. So it's something that she's very good at. She doesn't do as much of it as that I thought she would be doing, but it's she's got the room to do it, and when she feels like it, she comes in here for several hours a day. This is some more artwork from her previous mother-in-law. And back out of this room, this is the spare bedroom that used to be her son's. And when he moved out, we completely ripped the room down to nothing and started over, completely scrubbed, cleaned, took out everything, and then rebuilt it. This closet was completely removed and rebuilt. Everything was painted and fresh. We've only had one visitor, and that was my brother Alan's wife came about a year and a half ago, just for a short vacation in Florida. And then this is our bedroom, rather small as rooms go, but more than sufficient for us. Again, some more artwork from her past. And this is all. There's a bathroom over there in that corner, but we don't need to go there, I don't believe. So let me walk us out of here. I'm doing this just because I needed to get some practice at it, and I hope I've learned to edit. This is a new washer dryer. We had a new electric panel. We had a new electric panel put in, and the guy hooked it up wrong and burned up the clothes washer. It was only a year and a half old, and he burned it up. So they built us or bought us a new one. Another IKEA cabinet, some more storage. Now we're looking out the back door to where the car's parked. And that's about the end of the trip. I'll clean this thing up and see if I can't send it off to you here pretty quickly.